Welcome to my first video in my brand new series, The Iceberg of German Fluency. If you've ever wondered what it takes to go from a complete beginner in German to mastering the German language at an expert level, you're in the right place. In this series, we'll explore all 6 levels of German learning, from A1 to C2, and uncover what you need to know at each stage, and more importantly, what you need to be able to do with the language to truly master German. Think of German fluency as an iceberg. The A1 and A2 levels are what most German learners encounter at the surface. They're where you build your foundation, basic grammar, simple vocabulary, and your first steps at speaking and understanding German. But as with any iceberg, what's beneath the surface is much deeper, more complex, and far less explored. B1 to C2 levels represent the true depths of the language, nuanced grammar, cultural idioms, and advanced expressions that many learners simply never reach. But it all starts with today's video, well above the surface at the A1 level. Just like I'll be doing for every video in this series, I'll include 4 components that you need to understand at this level. I'll start with a quick overview of what the level is and what you can expect to achieve at this stage. Then we will dissect the official CEFR description at the A1 level so you know exactly how your skills will be measured so that you can take a shortcut to conquering the A1 proficiency exam, no matter which version you take. Next, I'll show you a list of grammar topics that you'll need to master at this level. I have lessons on this channel for almost every topic at this level, so I've included a ton of links in the description if you want to start down your journey today. Finally, I'll show you conversational and communicative topics that you'll need to focus on before you take the A1 exam. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap of what it takes to consider yourself A1 German beginner or to pass the A1 exam. Also, don't forget to check the video description for additional resources to practice what I introduce here. Let's start with a general overview. In the A1 levels, learners can communicate at the most basic level about themselves and their immediate surroundings. This only requires vocabulary of around 500 words in German, and most learners can reach this level after only about 40 to 50 hours of study. I don't recommend staying up for that long trying to get it all done at once, so this usually translates to about 1 to 3 months of German learning. The Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or CEFR, is a set of standards that describes language proficiency and can be used to measure any language. While this is obviously meant for European language learners based on the name, it's so incredibly well done that many people around the world, including myself, use this as a way to measure what learners need to know and how they measure up on the road to fluency. Each level is broken up into 5 parts: listening, reading, spoken interaction, spoken production, and writing. For this part of the video, I'll read the official description from the CEFR and then add more information if I think it will help you understand better. Listening. I can recognize familiar words and very basic phrases concerning myself, my family, and immediate concrete surroundings when people speak slowly and clearly. Pretty straightforward. If you just started learning German within the last few months, you will need people to speak slowly and clearly, and you are only going to understand the most familiar words and the most basic phrases about yourself, your family, and your immediate concrete surroundings. Reading. I can understand familiar names, words, and very simple sentences. For example, on notices and posters or in catalogs. You aren't reading any big novels at this level, although the book Nachbar Nummer 5 by Angelika Bohn is a good one to try if you think you're up to the challenge. You should be able to get the general idea from a poster that shows the name of someone and then some basic information about an upcoming event, for example. Spoken interaction. I can interact in a simple way provided the other person is prepared to repeat or rephrase things at a slower rate of speech and to help me formulate what I'm trying to say. I can ask and answer simple questions in areas of my immediate need or on very familiar topics. Again, the person to whom you are speaking has to speak slowly and clearly about the topics with which you are familiar. This is the same as the listening one, but it requires you to be able to speak on those topics too and respond properly to the prompt that you're given. We'll get more into the concrete examples of how this works towards the end of the video, when we get to the topics that you'll need to be familiar with. Spoken production. I can use simple phrases and sentences to describe where I live and the people I know. Not quite caveman, but you certainly aren't giving a speech in front of the UN General Assembly at this level. Ich bin Levi, ich spreche Deutsch, ich bin Deutschlehrer, I'm Levi, I speak German, I'm a teacher. Writing. I can write a short, simple postcard. For example, sending holiday greetings. I can fill in forms with personal details, for example, entering my name, nationality, and address on a hotel registration form. This is one of the most overlooked aspects at this level. It specifically says you should be able to write a simple postcard. Hallo Mama, liebe Grüße aus Hamburg. Ich bin gerade in Deutschland. Das Wetter hier ist schön. Ich komme bald wieder nach Hause. Bis dann, dein Levi. Hi Mom, greetings from Hamburg. I'm in Germany right now. The weather is nice here. I'm coming home soon. See you soon. Necessary grammar. For this portion of the video, I'm going to simply list the topics as there are quite a few here, and giving you a real description of them would require this video to be forever long, and I don't have that kind of time on my hands. That said, there are links in the description to this video for lessons about all of these things that are on this list. So if you want to learn more about any of these topics, click the links in the description. Nouns and articles. Genders of nouns, masculine, feminine, and neuter, der, die, and das. Singular versus plural nouns. Definite and indefinite articles, der, die, and das versus ein, eine, and ein. Negation with kein and its declensions. Cases. Nominative and accusative. Nominative case for subjects, der Hund läuft, the dog is running. Accusative case for direct objects, ich sehe den Hund, I see the dog. Declension of articles in the nominative and accusative cases, der changing to den and ein changing to einen for the masculine forms. Verbs. Verb conjugation in the present tense for regular verbs, machen, lernen, spielen, and so on. Common irregular verbs in the present tense, such as sein and haben. Modal verbs, können, müssen, wollen, dürfen, sollen, mögen. Separable verbs, especially the most common ones, such as aufstehen, mitkommen, einkaufen, and so on. Basic usage of reflexive verbs, sich waschen and sich freuen specifically. Sentence structure. Basic word order in main clauses, subject, verb, object. Ich lerne Deutsch. I am learning German. Word order with modal verbs. Ich möchte Deutsch lernen. I would like to learn German. Yes/no questions. Kommst du aus Deutschland? Are you from Germany? W questions, as in the ones with question words. Wer, was, wo, wann, warum, wie. Those are the ones that you need to focus on at this level. There are more complicated question words you can do later. This includes who, what, where, when, why, and how. Negation with nicht, as in where to put that word in the sentence. Pronouns, specifically the personal pronouns in the nominative case. Ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, sie, sie. Personal pronouns in the accusative case should also be learned at this level, which are mich, dich, ihn, sie, es, uns, euch, sie, and sie. Possessive pronouns in the nominative case, mein, dein, sein, ihr, sein, unser, euer, ihr, and ihr. The declension of the word dieser, 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 dieses, and diesen. Adjectives, specifically predicate adjectives and adverbs. Das Haus ist groß. The house is large. Basic adjective endings with a definite article. Der große Hund, the large dog. Basic comparative and superlative forms of adjectives and adverbs. Groß, größer, am größten. Big, bigger, the biggest. Prepositions. Just the accusative prepositions durch, für, gegen, ohne, and through, for, against, without, and around. And the basic dative prepositions aus, bei, mit, nach, seit, von, and zu. Notice I skipped over außer. Out of, at, with, after, since, from, and to. You need a few of the two-way prepositions at this level as well, which can use either the accusative or dative cases. In, an, auf, hinter, über, unter, vor, neben, and zwischen. In, on, another on, between, under, before, next to, and between. You need coordinating conjunctions, specifically und, oder, aber, denn, and, or, but, and because. Subordinating conjunctions, but not all of them, and just the super simple ones like weil and das, or because and that. Keep in mind with all of these topics at the A1 level, you are just scratching the surface of these topics. You aren't learning all 4 cases in the German language. You aren't learning every aspect of these 2 cases that you're learning either. Not all of the prepositions, just some of them. Not all of the details and minutiae that goes along with these prepositions, just the surface level. I can use these words in a very constrained circumstance. Conversational and communicative topics. Grammar is nice and all, but if you can't communicate with the language, what are you even doing? At the A1 level, you need just the very basics. That includes the following topics. Numbers and time. Cardinal numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and ordinal numbers, der erste, der zweite, der dritte, the first, the second, the third. Telling time, wie spät ist es? Es ist 14 Uhr. What time is it? It's 2 p.m. Days of the week, months, and seasons. Expressions of time with prepositions, such as am Montag and im Januar, or 10 Uhr, on Monday, in January, or at 10 o'clock. Introducing yourself. You need to know your name, age, residence, origin, nationality, and occupation at this level. Family, specifically your immediate family members and traits about them. Talking about hobbies. Ich spiele gern Fußball. I like to play soccer. Expressing likes and dislikes. Ich mag, ich hasse, I like, or I hate. Daily routine. What do you do when you get up, at work, at home, etc. Shopping. Groceries and clothing mostly. Dining, ordering out and your likes and dislikes. Traveling, how to get directions, transportation, and tickets. Weather, describe it and the seasons that it happens in. Home, your household items and activities. Health, how you are feeling and asking for someone's help. Again, you are just scratching the surface of these topics. No one is asking you to learn the German word for ascot at this level. Come to think of it, I actually don't know really the word for ascot in German. When you say you need to be able to talk about shopping for clothes, we mean the basics. Shirt, pants, socks, shoes, etc. I like to tell my students that when they first get to my German class, they are now like a 1-year-old in German. This is about the age when children start to speak their native language. They start with some basic words, mama, dada, teddy, etc. Then they gradually build vocabulary for the things that they need in their most immediate surroundings. Words for food, drink, and eat. And they also learn to count. By the time that you're done with the A1 level, you will have aged up to about a 2 or 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old right now in my house, and I can't understand half of what he's saying. Based on how much he listens whenever I tell him something, I don't think he understands me that much either. That will be true of your German skills at this level too. People say that children learn languages faster or more easily than adults, but those people are stupid. You aren't a child, at least based on the demographic information from my YouTube analytics. You are a fully functioning person who has already learned at least English. If not, this video has probably been very bewildering to you. Learning a second language should go faster than your first. That doesn't mean that you won't need to be patient with yourself. It will likely be difficult at times, but unlike my 3-year-old, you have the executive functioning skills to persevere through adversity. You will not fall on the ground and flail around when a German speaker doesn't understand what you just said when you're asking for cookies. You will figure it out just like the millions of German learners before you. The best part is you don't have to do it alone. The internet is a glorious place full of free resources like the lessons that you'll find on this channel and others like it, as well as courses, books, seminars, communities, and conversation groups. Go to GermanWithAntrim.com to download my full list of resources that I would use if I had to learn German from scratch, and check out the links in the description to start your German learning journey today and get into the depths of the German iceberg. Bis dann. Tschüss.